Hey everybody, what's up guys? Welcome back. I am KRX, and I think we're going to be doing another SWOT, a sort of getting started guide, a quick start guide for Castile here, SWOT analysis, looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for Castile. Of course, this is a country that we have done a full tutorial for complete beginners. This is probably more of an intermediate, just a sort of a quick start guide for people that maybe don't need to have every aspect of the game explained. We are playing with all of the DLCs, so we're just going to sort of go through, and aside from that tutorial, I'd never really played Castile before, and it's been a few months since I made that tutorial, but I wanted to go back and do SWOT analysis, quick start guides, and opening moves. After this, we'll do an opening moves video. I wanted to do that for all of the nations that we've done full-length tutorials for. I wanted to do that for all the nations that we've done full campaigns for, and also we've done a number of them just for random countries and stuff like that. So welcome on in. We're just going to be going through the process of developing a strategy and figuring out what the heck we're going to do with Castile. So it looks like it's Castile. I'm looking like 24,000 troops standing right now. Out of 33,000 is our force limit, so we could build up to that number. Pretty good economy, that makes sense. If we go to the trade map mode, we are, of course, gathering in Seville, earning 5 ducats there. That probably needs to update, to be honest. What are our merchants up to, though? We got one merchant pushing down there. That makes sense to me. This merchant, though, pulling 0.4 ducats over. I almost wonder if we'd probably make more money just collecting here. If there's not that much money here. I'd be curious, when we do opening moves, we might adjust that. We might adjust that when we do our opening moves. Let's actually take our ships here and protect trade in the Seville with the transport ships. Now, Granada, of course, is a country that is of vital importance to Castile. We'll need to take this land if we want to form Spain. We are capable of getting a favorable event against Aragon. So ideally, like, I think if we just allied Aragon, that would probably be the best case scenario. There's no reason to go to war and bash our head against Aragon when we might end up actually just sort of PUing them automatically via a special event for the Iberian wedding, right? If there's ever a time when we have a male ruler and, or is it heir? I can't remember exactly. No, I think it's rulers. They have to be the rulers. If we have a male and they have a female, or we have a female and they have a male, basically they'll join up and we'll get a PU over Aragon. It doesn't matter if we have a female ruler or not. It doesn't matter. So basically, as soon as a female ruler comes along for one of the two countries, then we'll be good to go. Of course, here we have a male in line in Aragon, and we also have males for us here too. Enrique actually is a 000. That's like abysmally bad. I think the first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of Enrique. Like this is just donezo. We need to get rid of this chump. We actually have a chance of falling under a PU with Aragon. That's not part of the event. It's just noticing that we have the same dynasty as Aragon, but we have no legal heir. So that's just, it's fine. We'll be able to work out. We have a 19-year-old ruler. He's not very good as it is, but oh no, he's 39 years old. Enrique was 19 years old. Either way, we got to get rid of him. We actually have a queen here, so I'm wondering why the queen wouldn't take over in this case, but maybe the queen actually hails from Aragon. Maybe that's what's going on there. And the queen doesn't count for the Iberian wedding, right? This isn't the Iberian wedding that it's warning us about. We'd need an actual queen to be the actual ruler, not just the consort. So if we wanted to attack Granada, what's the dealio here? We don't have any claims on him yet. But if we go to the truce map mode, we'll see that we do have a truce with Granada for the next 4 years. Actually, it's about 3 years. We will be able to swoop in there a little bit sooner than Portugal, who has about a 5-year truce. I think Aragon also has a truce. Yeah, 5-year truce with Granada for Aragon and Portugal. We'll want to sneak in there first. We might have some missions here in order to get free claims on Granada. Prepare the Reconquista. Prepare the Reconquista. So we need manpower levels at 60%. 60%. Right now we're at like 30%, maybe? So we need to get this up to 60%. Over the next 4 years, we're likely to only actually get an additional 40%. The tricky thing is we have to get up to our army force limit. Total naval force limit, at least 100% of force limit. Total army size, at least 100% of force limit. Holy cow, wants us to do navy as well? That's going to be expensive. This gives us free permanent claims on Upper Andalusia and Navarra. So presumably this is Upper Andalusia. Also gives us claims on Navarra here. So, if we look here, subjugate Navarra. This is something that we could do. We could actually try to do this diplomatically. Give us a local fort defense. That's not particularly amazing. Oh, a free castle. We'd get a free castle in Navarra. That's actually pretty good because it's a good mountain area. And it looks like they would be willing to accept vassalization. We just have to earn vassalization. Let's start off by actually buttering up Navarra. Let's make sure we get the alliance with Aragon, which we talked about. We're probably also going to want to get the alliance with Portugal as well. And just sort of, do a lock on. Well, actually, I don't know. Portugal could be an opportunity for us to expand. They are allied to Great Britain at the beginning of the game. We could go into the diplomatic mode to see that, but I just kind of know this from playing in the region a few times. So England, did I say Great Britain? England and Portugal are allied at the start of the game for, I don't know, historical reasons or balance reasons or a bit of both. So we've picked up with Aragon. Aragon, of course, has Naples, but Naples can break free pretty quickly and easily since the 1.3 patch. Morocco, important to note that Morocco does have subjects down here. So Sus, Marrakesh, and these guys here are all subjects of Morocco. So Morocco's strength is the combination of all these nations together. It means that they're usually pretty powerful. One thing that can happen is these guys could become disloyal, 47%. 45%, yeah, very high percentage of liberty desire. We can actually support the independence of one of these guys and actually go into a war against Morocco and sort of beat up Morocco pretty easily from doing that. Actually, getting Ceuta would be really nice if we could control that. Take that for Portugal or something. But see, that's the thing. I don't know if we want to befriend Portugal or not. Actually, don't we have a mission to eventually PU Portugal or something? I think we might. Claims on Aragon. Okay. See, this is permanent claims for all of Aragon. This is saying that we have to own. Oh, this is if we own Aragon, then we actually get. We don't ever get free claims over Aragon. It doesn't seem. But if we take over Aragon, then we'll actually get claims in. We'll get free claims on these bits over here, right? And then eventually that will tie into Italian ambitions. And of course, if we just grab Aragon and Naples diplomatically, then we wouldn't even have to worry about these missions. Would kind of auto-complete themselves in a sense. But eventually, this would give us claims on the northern Italy part at least. So that would be good. Recover Portugal. So this is what does this do? It gives us a restore the Union casus belli on Portugal. So we will actually have a PU opportunity on Portugal later on. Once we get the PU on Aragon, we'll have the option to PU Portugal. That's pretty powerful. Yeah, Castile has incredible opportunities and stuff like that. But this is the main one. If we can retake Andalusia, then we'll get an event will happen that will tie into wanting to create, convert these provinces to Christian faith, to Catholic faith. And then that will give us claims apparently on Malta, but also northern Morocco, right? So taking Granada will take us into here. So that's going to be our path of operation, I guess. And then eventually we'll also have the options for colonizing and stuff. Of course, we are going to be a colonial nation, West African ports and some stuff in here. So a lot of this is colonialism. A lot of this is just conquering these areas over here. So actually conquering these areas over here, even that seems to northern Morocco area. Algiers, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it looks like we'll get some claims on this area, but it's not going to be like the whole place necessarily. So we have some ideas here. 15% morale of armies, 5% Marines force limit. Marines are like a special unit that we can make. We can essentially make infantry from sailors. That's not amazing. But this does technically save us from... This does help us in terms of reducing the strain that our manpower will suffer. So if we do end up having a lot of sailors, we can convert some of the sailors into just like a marine infantry unit. Now, are the Marines more effective at fighting? That I'm not 100% sure about, or if they're just regular units, or maybe they're a little worse. Now, the Castilian ideas, I think, do get swapped for the Spanish ideas. Oh, no, we get a colonist here. I'm not actually 100% sure. Minus 1% yearly army tradition decay. That's pretty good. 25 plus 25 global settler increase, and then the free colonist. So Castile is one of the nations that can get up to 4 colonists. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. Economically, we're doing well. Of course, we know we need to make a lot of money in order to build a lot of ships. Oh, we're only 3 away from our naval force limit. That's not too bad. We probably want to just keep building lights at this point. It's going to be a few years before we actually use our navy to do anything here. It seems we might... See, I don't even know if we want to attack Morocco early, since we're trying to build up our force limit. Or, sorry, yeah, we're trying to build up our troops, but we're also trying to get our manpower recovered quickly so that we can get the free permanent claims on Granada. Yeah, let's send these ships around here, but then well, you know what the heck, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to mothball them here. Let's mothball our heavies and our cogs. That should save us a few ducats a month, which is great. Actually, where are our forts right now? That's hills. Toledo is grasslands. I honestly don't think it is our capital, though. We'll keep Toledo around because it's our capital, but I think eventually we will get rid of that, especially once we take over the forts that are down here in the mountains. This fort particularly. Is that actually the only one that's actually a fort? Or is there one in Granada? No, there's just one here. So that's going to be a really good fort for us to have, a mountain fort down there. Also, if we get the fort for Navarra, that's going to be fantastic for future conflict against France. There's also forts... Actually, these aren't even considered mountains. They're just considered hills. That's interesting to me. Actually, we could get some rivals. Lithuania, France, and England. Portugal's going to like us no matter what. And I think it's worth probably allying them just on the basis. So that would be one relationship with Aragon, one relationship with Portugal. We could get the Pope. We could make the Pope happy. Let's butter up the Pope. And then one relationship with Navarre. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We could end up grabbing support independence on one of these Moroccan nations down here to destabilize Morocco. They're of course going to be one of our adversaries. In fact, if we could just rival Morocco, I think that's a done deal. Of course, we don't want to rival Portugal or Aragon. We could rival Burgundy. We could rival England. England's not really that relevant to us, although we do border England technically, but I don't think we're going to do anything against England. It says Lithuania here. Likeliness that Lithuania is not going to be valid forever, so let's rival Lithuania, because they've rivaled us, so they're kind of irrelevant. I'm actually trying to rival people that are mostly irrelevant, because I don't want to make France... If France wants to change their tune and stop rivaling us, I want to encourage that behavior. I want to encourage France to flip friendly. I want to encourage England to flip friendly. Realistically, if we rivaled England, it might make France happy. That would have been something to think about there, potentially. If we can get like a manpower recovery... No manpower person here. Except I don't think there is a manpower recovery person for the court. It's just like a total manpower increase, which does actually attribute to a larger gain per month, right? We're making 252 per month. We could pay for any of these guys. We do have a very poor... our leadership is terrible, right? So being able to get more... Oh, we're actually focused on military right now. National tax modifier. This guy might pay for himself. We're making 8 ducats for tax. Yeah, that guy's always going to pay for himself. But before we do this, let's actually go to our estates where we might be able to make them a little bit cheaper. It says we have low crown land right now. Let's actually do this while we're at 50%, 50%, 50%. Let's steal back the crown land. Okay. Now we're good to go on crown land. Let's go in here and start hitting some of these buttons. We can't do this because we don't have the crown land to give away yet. This makes administrative advisors cheaper. Sounds good to me. This just gives more loyalty and more influence so that the clergy can be more impactful. I think that's usually what I do for the clergy. Over here for the nobility, this is an interesting one. Increase levies, 46% land ownership, national manpower modifier plus 46%. I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. 252 per month. If we increase our maximum by 46%, shouldn't we also increase our gain? But it also is going to make it harder to actually achieve maximum manpower. It's going to make it harder to achieve higher manpower because it's not going to increase the amount that we have here by 46%. So, I don't think we want to do that right now. Right to council, that's fine. We could swoop in and do the military cost advisor, but I don't know if we're going to be paying for... Unless we have like a land maintenance, but he's level 2. That's a little bit too much. Diplomatic reputation guy. That could be good. Let's go to the burgers here. Cheaper ships could be good. Reducing the ship cost, that's down here. Private trade fleets. Light ships are 20% cheaper. That's good because we're going to need to build more light ships. The trade power is more effective as well. What is this? Exclusive trade rights. 20 local autonomy in Seville, minus 15 local development. Cost to centers of trade in Seville. Ooh. In 3 mercantilism. That's actually kind of cool. Seville, of course, is a really nice province, but making it minus 15% cheaper to develop in all of the centers of trade in the Seville region, that includes our capital and these provinces up here, which admittedly I don't know. This is grasslands. I repeat, this is grasslands. Leon is mountains, but still, like that. Toledo's grasslands, this is grasslands. That would make it insanely cheap to dev those areas up for institutions and stuff like Renaissance if we needed to. That's something to think about. Yeah, exclusive trade rights is definitely something to think about. And then eventually you could just get rid of this and then that autonomy can go back to 0. It's only 1 province too. That's kind of neat. This is a great way to take a bunch of cheap loans. We don't need that right now, however. Cheaper diplomatic advisors, I think that's good. We could do this to gain extra yearly prestige at the cost of national tax modifier. We'd also gain 25 prestige immediately. The prestige is having an effect right now on our taxes, but other than that, I think most of this is not going to be hurtful while we're at peace. I think we hit those 2 buttons for them. We can here figure out an agenda here. So this is saying it wants this province to be a little bit higher. Oh, this is gold province. The gold province, we don't really want the gold province to be devved up for base tax. We'd rather dev it up for production. Like if this here was for this gold province, that'd be a no-brainer. Instead, it's talking about this province. 85 ducats if we dev that up a couple times, though. Although it's just a yarn province. That's not great. Have an army equal or larger than Lithuania. Oh, we could easily do that. If this actually... Oh, and it gives us cheaper armies? And morale of armies for 10 years. That's good. Let's do that. So it's going to just want us to build up our army a little bit to be larger than Lithuania's. I think right away we're going to build up our army because the way that we're actually going to gain... our manpower is by drilling. So we're going to drill our armies, and we might try to get... We're going to try... Oh, we're at 10% army professionalism? No way. No way. Why do we start with 10% army professionalism? I didn't know you ever... Is this a 1.3 change? I don't remember ever starting with army professionalism with any country. I don't know if this is like a European thing. Is this a Castile thing? I don't know. We can slacken for 12,000 manpower, which means we can almost slacken for the amount of manpower that we need for this mission. We're going to keep drilling to try to get more army professionalism. We don't want to burn all of that, right? But that's actually fantastic. So we know that in 3 years, we will have this done based on being able to slacken. That will get done, which is really critical that we do this as quickly as possible, and we use the permanent free claims to do it. One thing we could do with Castile that's actually super fancy is that in the states here, we can actually start looking at which of these that we might want to hit. These are the holy orders. We can activate these in every state, and they're just like permanent buffs, like forever. Local construction cost minus 10%. I mean, right on, right? And I think this also increases gain 1 base tax in every province. So you spend 50 admin, and you get 5 base tax. That's crazy. Province changes when establishing. Permanent province effects. Yeah, it's like the effects are actually kind of mild, but you end up, it's like a cheap way to develop up, mass develop up. That's actually really cool. It actually trades out the trade good, slaves trade good, which is kind of a weaker trade good, for a different good. That's actually really, really cool. That's actually super neat. I didn't notice that. It adds extra base tax. So places that have really good trade, or could potentially re-roll to better trade goods, and then also places just like you know, like this gold area here, like that could be an area there. The culture conversion cost makes it easier to culture convert. 30% cheaper. That's no joke right there. And then this also makes it so there's a little less unrest. So over here, like at this area here, I don't know what we'd want. We could either, that's the thing, you can swoop in, you can enact one of these things, but we don't have that yet. But we can make it so it's easier to do conversions and cheaper to build buildings, or easier to do the culture conversion stuff. I don't know, maybe culture converting with these guys would be something that we would end up doing quite a bit or something. So that's actually really, really cool seeing that. The other thing we actually could do, right, is we could go in and we could activate manpower modifier 25% to try to boost. Like if we did that, we could just try to like boost our gains, our manpower gains from that. I think we said, oh no, okay, so we are going to get this guy. He's 40, which isn't super young, but I think we're gonna, once we get 10, we need about 20 ducats, and we can get those 2 guys online. So as soon as we unpause, we're going to do that. We've sort of thought about our diplomatic situation: Aragon, Portugal, and the Papal State plus Navarra. Navarra will be vassalized. The Pope is just the Pope. Hopefully we'll be able to get the Iberian wedding on Aragon soon. Although there's a randomness to that. We are making a ton of money here, which is why we are building up more troops, which will bring this down a little bit. However, man, I don't even know why that went up so high. We're to try to move one of our merchants over. We're going to let the trade update next month. We're going to move our merchant over here to Seville to see if that's going to work out. I think for the most part, we are ready to go. Whether or not we attack Morocco, I think depends on how quickly we could possibly hit this button. If we can hit this button a little early, then we might actually swoop in and attack Morocco before we actually attack Granada. It just kind of depends on what kind of opportunities we can find. We have no unrest in our country as it is. We will have unrest and stuff once we take out Granada. Now there is a civil war here. The Castilian Civil War can happen under the following conditions. Have no current disaster. It is the age of discovery. At peace. Has an heir. One of the following must be true. Have a regency council. Has a female heir. Heir claim weaker than 80. Huh. So when we get an heir, if the heir is female, or the heir is weaker than 80 in terms of its strength to the throne, then we might end up finding ourselves in a Castilian civil war. Stability less than 1, or getting +1 from that, so we can get rid of that modifier. Our ruler is just absolutely terrible. If we had a good heir and they took over, that'd be fine. So this actually wouldn't be progressing very quickly. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's kind of hard to say here, but it looks like because our ruler is so incompetent, we would be getting some progress per month, assuming that some of these things were fit, or assuming the requirements were met there for the disaster, in terms of the heir. But guys, we do also need to use our diplomats to go around and make sure we're embargoing our rivals and doing some of the things. We might want to actually privateer some of our rivals. Have we rivaled anyone locally? Yeah, Morocco, right? We could privateer Morocco. Oh, you know, actually one thing, holy cow, I almost forgot about this. Heavy ships. This is very important. We need our heavy ships to hunt pirates in Seville. Okay, ooh, glad we did that, because Morocco will pirate us. So if we're hunting pirates with a couple heavy ships, we'll be totally A-okay there. The other thing is we could actually send some of our own ships to privateer Morocco if we wanted power projection, but I think early in the game we won't be able to get to 50 anyways. So we can hold off on that. But guys, thanks everybody for watching. Oh, this went a little bit longer. This was just a SWOT analysis. Holy cow. Next episode, we'll do opening moves. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Of course, we have playlists down below for all of the other SWOT analyses that we've done, looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats of a country, and sort of developing a strategy, developing a plan, and just talking through the nation, its future ambitions, its goals, and how we got everything set up. We are ready to unpause the game. So next episode, we're going to unpause the game. We're going to do some opening moves. We're going to fly through and try to get some of these things that we've talked about in this episode. We're going to try to get those things done, and hopefully things don't go haywire. Thanks everybody for being here. I'll see you guys in the next one.